Each candidate was asked questions important to voters in Southern Oregon by the Mail Tribune, so you can compare each candidate in their own words.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Chicago. My parents immigrated to Chicago back in the 60s. And so, Chicago was a wonderful place to live. I spent the majority of my life there. And then I enlisted into the Marine Corps. And then after the Marines, after 6 years, I was physically disabled and couldn't do service anymore after 6 years. And so I ended up moving to Arizona, where I became a sheriff deputy down there. And interesting enough, my parents had retired out there, and I was in transition, still from trying to recover from my injuries. And so I went there and I fell in love with Arizona and decided to stay there. And then after that, I actually came up here to Portland with my family. My ex-wife's family is located up in Portland, and so we decided to come up in 2013. And then I actually started working for the Department of Human Services. And so during that time, it's very interesting to see how the government here provides services to Oregonians. There is a clear disconnect between what happens in the metro area, what happens in rural Oregon, marginalization for people, whether it's in the rural or in the urban area. So as I started to climb higher in government, I started to see that there was a clear political system that was in play of what got attention, what didn't get attention. And then as I moved over, I'm actually now the program manager for the Social Determinants of Health Department for the Oregon Health Authority. And my job there is to remove barriers to help people get behavioral health services. And it's incredibly difficult to help community when we're all not in alignment. And so, I work with people across all of Oregon in my current position, and you clearly see the disparities that are happening within our community. And so I thought that staying within the government, the higher I got, the bigger I can affect the scope of work. And I decided it's just not enough. I need to be able to go to the top seat in order to be able to provide services to people the way it's intended to serve. Well, so, the decriminalization of marijuana, I believe, was a good thing for community members. Now, the illegal farm growing and what they're putting in their marijuana, I think needs to be stopped. I think it does need to be regulated and it does need to be controlled. And when we think of our law enforcement, that is taking a proactive approach to make sure that illegal drugs are not being, transported and sold to our underage children. And that the government should step in, should provide that funding, should be working in collaboration with the state police, and being able to turn, these farms and destroy their product, incarcerate the people that are performing these illegal activities. Because if there's no reason to do an illegal farm when marijuana is legal. So there's something more to that. It's tied to something else. And that's what we have to get to the bottom of. What is those funds contributing? Because it's not going for legal sales. What is it tied to? Is it tied to sex trade? Is it tied to other harder narcotics? What population is it mostly impacting and influencing? And I can almost guarantee it's probably our children that is being mostly affected by that. So, wildfires, the devastation that happened in this area, including the bootleg fire, I think really devastated this local community and its local economy. And of course, there's never going to be enough money for that type of devastation to be able to bring the economy back to where it was, or to be able to replace all of the burnt buildings right away. I know that, Governor Kate Brown, I think, tried to do the best that she could, but there was more money, I think, and more support that could have been provided. Our reality today is that wildfires they come every year and they're only getting bigger and worse every year. We need to be able to have resources rapidly available to deploy immediately. So that way we can try to prevent wildfires from expanding and growing to the size that it did. I think we also need to, knowing the devastation this area caused and the health concerns now that we have, we should be looking at how are we going to provide expanded health care for our fire teams and fire workers that were out there, volunteer services, because they are going to have long-lasting effects that no one's really talking about. We also need to invest enough money to bring back the homes that were lost and the buildings that were lost and help this economy grow down here. And we also need to work on fire suppression. I know that the local area, they're trying to do more controlled burns to be able to prevent future wildfires from happening. And we need to continue to support those efforts. The loss that we had during these wildfires was more than just property. It was people's lives, people's savings, people's memories. You can't put a price tag on that. So when something like that happens, we have to do more than what we did and continue to say, we can't put a value on that. So whatever sacrifices that we need to do within our local government, we should do that. It's the right thing to do.